The high-grade Galbaldy Rebake. It's as if the Galbaldy beta took a vacation and brought home souvenirs from Tekadan and welcomed itself in the Gundam Build Diver series. Ever since I saw its first appearance on the series, I was super hyped to check out this model kit, and boy oh boy, the number of runners is intense. The contents consist of 12 runners, 5 of which are mainly for this kit, 6 runners that came from the Galbaldy beta, a set of polycaps, and a sheet of stickers. The number of X's in the instructions are pieces not part of the build, and honestly, this feels like a waste of plastic for those who straight build model kits. But, will this kit pop, or will it be a flop? Let's find out. Dondoro build. Whee! So, here it is. The Rebake in its name, Bandai surely rebaked the design than what the show intended for it to look like. I don't hate it, I think it's still a good kit with an added touch of the iron-blooded orphans that made this kit quite stand out. The design is mostly taken from the Gundam Gusion Rebake, and perhaps its armaments are from the Gundam Gusion Rebake Full City. Blah! That's a mouthful. But overall, the design may not be to everyone's liking simply because of how the design looks deceptively different from the series, and I'm sure builders out there aren't strangers to Bandai's inaccuracy. But in my opinion, it's not as bad as I thought, but there are areas that could have been improved to make this kit a little better. The sticker sheet is not bad and are mostly used for power symbols on the shoulder armor. The eye stickers is terrible because the pink mono eye is part of the black stickers and the yellow stickers go into the vents of the shoulders, which could have easily been a separate part instead. The white stickers go over the weapons, which I'll be showing later. The articulation is pretty decent despite the huge armor because of the joint mechanism in the shoulder that allows the arms to extend, which is really nice. The torso joint is based on almost all Universal Century high-grade revive kits that allow it to bend forwards and back, however this particular design can only go so far before it gets separated from the ball joint. Because of the head's elongated size, range is limited from looking up and down. Arms can only bend at 90 degrees despite the large space between the upper and lower arm, but you can twist the lower arm to bend a little more than 90 degrees. Because the design is based on the beta, the large front skirt can only extend this far due to the hidden armor behind the skirt, and it's a wonder whether Bandai overlooked this design or didn't want to bother too much about it. The legs can kick awkwardly this far, and the saving grace is the double bend at the knee right here. Until you get to the feet that limits the side-to-side movement because of the armor surrounding it, which makes open leg stance limited. Shield is pretty monotonous and basic and is assembled in 3 parts. The peg here can connect in either side of the arm at ease. While the rifle is not part of the build, it does have the complete parts for assembly, including a trigger holding hand along with it. The hammer pliers is the main event here, and it's what sold me to getting this kit. The white stickers go over the recess areas here just to break the monotone color of the weapon. The weapon can act both as hammer and pliers for devastating effect against its enemies and anyone caught with this beast. It's ridiculous, it's fun, and I love it. The holster attachment for the weapon goes into the back, although I do wish this design could have been better instead of slapping a piece onto the surface, otherwise you just have this weird H mark on the back. The large caliber howitzer, I don't know if I can pronounce it correctly, is the second main event of this kit and is indeed large as the name suggests. It is built only using 3 parts and is provided with a wraparound sticker that goes around the barrel of the weapon. Sadly, a sensor sticker isn't provided, which looks pretty obvious that this one has. With the backpack attached, the Galbaldy Rebake looks like a mean walking tank with all these large attachments on it. I do want to talk about the weapon for a moment. With the weapon raised, it does look pretty cool, but looking at it from the side feels off. What they could have done is create a simple mechanism where you have the caliber cocked forward, otherwise this design would have this kit falling on its back unless you lean this kit forward. A forewarning though about this weapon is to handle it carefully because of how tight the attachment is to raise the weapon. By disassembling the backpack and the piece that's holding onto the weapon, you can see it is a pretty thin piece that you simply slide into the slot, and over time this might eventually lead to breaking the piece the more this weapon is being raised, so this needs to be treated with care. As per kit I review, it's time to recolor this kit, and there's a lot of inspiration going into this concept. The idea is clear as day, and there are a few characters I heavily base it upon, such as the EVA Unit 01 from Evangelion, Beetlemon from Digimon Frontier, and Vile from the Megaman X series. There's just something fancy about slapping purple in a kit with a bit of neon green and orange to complement the triadic color palette. And yes, I know, Beetlemon is purple, but you get the idea. This project took me a bit of time compared to my previous builds, but here it is, the Galbaldy Space Rebake. Or Rebake, or Space, whatever. But you know what? I have no official title, but let's keep it that way. But I am pleased with this color scheme as it gives off that royal look, and it actually gave me that Gyan vibe for some reason. There were a lot of masking areas which could have been done a little better, or what could have easily been a separate piece, but it does the job and I'm happy how it turned out. I did use these added armor panels that came from one of the high-grade campaign part set which I had with me for quite a while and decided to put some good use to it considering how flat some areas are in the rebake. The armor panels helped bulk the kit up a little bit from the chest and lower leg area, and it almost felt like I'm holding a different kit. I have been criticizing this kit throughout this video, and that being said, I don't view this kit in a negative light. There are certainly pros and cons that balance this kit out whether you hate this or not, but if you've been building for a while, it's hard not to ignore how certain areas of the build could have easily been a separate piece, such as the shoulder and leg vents, since Bandai took the extra mile to carefully create even the tiniest detailed piece on a high grade. Or perhaps the recycled parts from the beta kit for the front skirt could have been a new piece instead, and the leg armor should have limited feet articulation, especially if this kit is designed to have a wider range of movement. But if you simply enjoy straight building and these things don't bother you, then you'll have a good time with this kit. If not, then it won't hurt to go the extra mile to rectify those flaws. As for the pros, there's something to enjoy if you like bulky, almost Xeon type mobile suits. Articulation is fairly decent and quite stable, and the accessories made up for this kit. I did enjoy it despite being nitpicky about it, but if you feel like you want to get creative in fixing things, then this kit is for you. Having this kit hold the hammer pliers can be tricky since this kit doesn't have any angled holding hands to better wield the weapon, but there are certain ways to get around it if handled properly. The Galbaldy Rebake is quite a piece of work, and I usually take more breaks than usual between painting, mainly because of the areas I had to mask, therefore making this project a little longer to finish. I've always liked bulky suits just because they're easy to handle and they compensate for my large hands. The kit may not look like its anime counterpart, but this doesn't take away from the overall design of how well this one looks out of the box. Otherwise, you can just skip this kit if this one isn't for you. But anyway, there are tons of kits out there to enjoy, and this isn't the last of it. This was a challenging process, and it certainly opens up for more things for me to try, but that'll be all for today. Hopefully I wasn't too harsh on this build and in the video, but I hope you enjoy it, and thank you. Build safe, stay safe, see ya.